Welcome back, River Vixens. Today, my immaculate self and my sensuous co-host will be discussing a paragon in the genre of coming-of-age teen dramas. It is a tumultuous pilot that sets up a season of drama, intrigue, mystery, and romance. And if you're asking yourself who on God's green earth actually talks this way, myself and Laurel are asking ourselves the exact same thing. Does the Riverdale pilot stick the landing or crash and burn? Join us as we sleuth it out on Season 2, Episode 2 of Effing It Up.
Oh my gosh, that was so gross.
Right?
And you're right, they do all kind of talk like that.
I'm like, who are you people? And what is wrong with you?
They're cartoons, though. They don't come from the real world, they come from the cartoon world.
Is that what happens in Season 5?
I have no idea what happens in
I'll
Season 5. I abandoned the show midway through Season 2.
You got it. To Season 2. I didn't want to watch Episode 1.
Okay, but for what it's worth, when Riverdale first came out, when it first came out,
defend Riverdale.
Only Season 1 is out. It was like bonkers, but it was still like a murder mystery.
Yeah.
You know? There was none of that like cults and aliens and like we're going to space. Time travel and like mind control and people in the woods and none of that had happened.
It was just...
I
don't fit in.
It was just...
I'm weird.
Yeah. It was just a bunch of... Yeah.
Have you ever seen me without this hat? That's weird.
It's literally a bunch of... I'm not like the other girls, but every character...
is exactly the same.
And the only reason I watched the show... Well, it was entertaining, I'll give it that. But the only reason I really watched the show was for Skeet Ulrich, because he starred in my favorite TV show, Jericho. So.
Oh my god. Laurel will go to great lengths for... under-the-radar actors that star in her favorite television shows that nobody else has ever heard of.
I'll make you watch it one of these days.
That'll be our next pilot.
Yeah, hooray! Alright, anyway, back to Riverdale.
We now return to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Orson Welles. I don't know how to start this either, but it's first off the plot.
Oh my gosh.
There was so much going on in just episode 1, right?
So much I just want to like read off some of my notes.
Yeah, please do.
As I was watching this and just like furiously typing things down.
Because but then you were going to miss the brilliance that's happening on screen if you look down.
The first thing I wrote was, is statutory rape the tone for the show? Oh gosh. Such a creepy. I was not I knew that was a thing, but then not watching it, I was like, they just let a predator into their school, and she just picks up this poor, handsome young football player, a child, and throws him in her car.
Okay, so, all of that is, like, what the worst, most negligent, morally negligent part of that storyline is the fact that they frame it as like
romance?
Yeah, as like Archie is sexy. And it's not like he is a kid who is being preyed on. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's a kid who is sexy and loves his, like, had a romantic fling with his teacher.
And I'm like...
And like, I think later on they were like, maybe that was creepy because, spoilers, they do kill that character off for being a creep. A little too late.
Little too late. They're like, well, we killed her.
She got punished for being creepy. No, not the way you framed it in episode 1.
Yeah.
In episode 1, it was like they cared for each other and they had a thing, but it was wrong because she was his teacher. No, she is an adult. He is a child.
He's a baby. I don't care if he has muscles. He's a baby.
Like, seriously, so creepy.
Also, the fact that her name is Geraldine. Like, red flag number 1.
I don't hate the name Geraldine.
Well, Laurel, honestly,
I should now.
You should.
I should now.
Geraldine Grundy.
Yeah, Grundy. I don't think that's anyone's real name.
Habitual predator.
She is habitual because they do actually make that a thing later on in the show when they kill her off. Archie was not her first child that she preyed on, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Spoilers.
second note that I had was, I'm mostly mad.
And that is valid.
I also wrote, if the point of the show is children taking things into their own hands because all the adults in the town are unhinged,
oh, for sure,
then it kind of hits home.
Oh, for sure. The adults are literally no more mature than the children are.
I'm like, it honestly, like, makes so much sense because you remembering that they're high schoolers. I'm like, of course you're talking like weird little aliens.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, like, I'm gay. So happy.
Oh my word. Okay. No one talks like that. He is just... He is an alien.
He said, well, no, he says his name, and then she goes, gay, thank God.
Yeah,
Let's be best friends.
I don't know that he even gets to say his name. He's like, hi, I'm, and she's like, gay. Like, oh, okay, you assign an identity.
That's your new name.
That's gross. It's like that scene in Doctor Who where they're like, we're the gay, like, military couple. Why would we also need names?
It's just like, I feel like I've been around a decent amount of high schoolers in the industry that we both have worked in. Like, you're an actual teacher.
Yeah.
And then I work at a coffee shop, and there's a lot of teenagers there.
Yeah.
I have never heard any of them speak even remotely close, even a couple years ago, the way that these characters in this show talk.
No, it's like a mashup of Glee and just
like Gossip
a bad
Girl.
trip. Yeah.
Yes.
And Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Maybe like, what was that other one? Pretty Little Liars.
Yes.
That one was insane too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kind of in the vein of that, but it's colorful. So that's probably why I got through season 1.
I was like, look at how many primary colors are on this. Look at that red hair.
I'm telling you, man, if a show doesn't have colors, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
I do love pretty colors.
I was going to say, you would never been able to watch the Andy Griffith Show.
No, I didn't. I didn't like that show. I couldn't get through.
Yep, black and white.
And yet I like Buster Keaton, but I don't know. Explain that to me. So.
He's a colorful personality.
Yeah, he is a colorful personality. Anyway, off track again. Yeah, what are your other notes on that?
I really think that like kind of sums it up. The plot just felt all over the place.
Very top heavy. Yeah.
Like, I kind of wish they had just stuck with like the murder. Like,
yeah.
Because they didn't really even be like, it's murder until.
Yeah.
Like, they could have been planting seeds of something's wrong much earlier in the show. Like, sticking with the murder mystery theme. Instead, they're like...
Although, credit where it's due, because you're right, they are all over the place. And they are planting seeds, but it's not about the murder. It's more like what's wrong with the town.
Yeah.
But if you look at the name of the show... It almost actually kind of makes sense. It's like everything is insane in Riverdale.
Everything's insane in Riverdale. But if your main plot point is them solving a murder, if that's like the foundation, like...
I think that you're misunderstanding the show. The main plot point is not the murder. The main plot point is how horny are these teenagers. Or perhaps... So, regarding the plot... I don't actually have thoughts on the plot because it's just like insane. Like
it's messy.
Like season 1, it's super messy. Like season 1, I can't even remember how it ends. I feel like they do wrap up whoever killed what's his face, Jason, but I can't remember who killed him or why.
Yeah.
Like I did watch all of season 1, and none of that really stuck with me. All I remembered was that there was a pedophile on the school, like, you know, teaching at the school. That was all I really remembered. But, I was scarred.
Every time he calls her Geraldine.
Yeah, right? It's almost like, it's almost worse because they don't portray him as being in love with her, which almost makes it like he was cool to have sex with her once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that didn't affect him.
Yeah.
Like, that, to me, is almost worse because it wasn't like he's blinded by youthful emotions. He's an adult. Yeah. That's how they're portraying it. Like, he has...
They're like, oh, he's an adult. He makes his own choices. I'm like,
exactly.
No!
Exactly.
His
like,
prefrontal cortex is mush!
Yeah, exactly.
He can't make a good decision if his life depended on it!
That is just... It's bad enough that they're portraying all these teenagers as, like, these super sexy, classy, mature, like... whatever.
Yeah,
that's not how teenagers act.
Veronica walks in her little pencil skirt.
Yeah, at least that's not how any teenagers I've known behave or think.
No, they dumb.
But
they dumb.
I know, I was dumb when I was a teenager.
The brain's mush, they dumb.
I'm still dumb, but I don't get to blame it on being a teenager anymore.
I was like, I'm dumb in a very different way.
It's like, these adults are living out their sexual fantasies through these teenage characters. Like, get out of the writer's room and get into the therapist's room.
It kind of gives the same vibes of Euphoria, where it's like these sexed up high schoolers. Like, you could have very easily set this whole thing on a college campus.
Yeah.
You could have removed half the ick.
Yeah. Yeah, why? What is it with the writers doing that? They need to be called out.
Like, yeah, you could have had a professor having an affair with her student, which would be, like, uncomfortable, immoral, i.e. Ross and his
power
student
dynamics.
friends, bringing it back around.
Oh my.
Yeah, power dynamic, but not illegal.
Yeah.
It would still be at least adults.
Not with a child.
Yeah, it would remove the whole... It would not be statutory rape anymore.
Geraldine halfway through the series, or maybe it was even not till season 2. That doesn't fix it. Not quick enough.
Not quick enough, I say. I believe Geraldine
needed to die in that moment.
Episode 2.
Archie needs to be traumatized not by overhearing a stray gunshot, but by watching his teacher die in front of him. Oh gosh. Anyway, maybe we are the ones who need therapy.
We're like, murder!
Murder's the answer.
It's always the answer.
My only note about the plot is that like you said, it's all over the place. Because look, these are all different plot lines that they introduced in just episode 1. Maya hasn't seen anything other than episode 1. All of this is seated in episode 1. Archie wants to start a music career, but he's torn between his father's job and like his love of music and football, right? He's three different things going on. The lodge money that appeared mysteriously when Veronica and her mother moved into town, there's just like a suitcase full of money that no one knows what it is, but it's shady.
Yeah, and
something's going on there.
In court for embezzlement.
And her dad is in court for embezzlement or something. There's a pedophile. And as she is sleeping with her teenage student, they overhear the gunshot that potentially kills the person whose murder kicks off the start of the show, wrecks the town. Something happened to Polly. We don't know what happened to Polly. She's disappeared, and something happened to her.
Yeah, we know that she dated the guy who was murdered.
Yes.
But she's only mentioned.
Yes, Jughead and Archie apparently had some sort of past that is not explained.
Betty is a straight A student, completely type A, probably being unnecessarily medicated by her mother, given the little Adderall bit that we saw there.
Yes.
And she wants to cheerlead.
I forgot about the cheerleading plot line. There's also that.
Yeah.
There's Jason, who is murdered, but is also, like, kind of portrayed to be, like, maybe not a good person either.
Yeah.
Like, all of this is happening in episode 1.
And that's only, like, half of the plot lines.
That's only, like, half the plot lines. That's just once I actually started writing them down halfway through the episode. I was like, I need to, like... this is ridiculous. Like,
I really just sat and absorbed it, and I was like...
Oh, and then there's also the plot line of, like, Betty likes Archie, but Archie doesn't feel that way about Betty, but then he's into Veronica.
But mostly he's in love with...
Oh yeah, his teacher. Yeah, you're right. He's not even. That's so true. He's not even into Veronica. He's into his teacher.
Yeah, but he's attracted to Veronica. But he has feelings for his teacher.
Yes, you're right. Oh my gosh, kill me now. Why did I watch this entire season?
I don't know. I didn't even want to.
But you know what? You didn't get to see Skeet Ulrich, so that's.
Yeah. Really, I have no idea who you're even talking about.
It's Jughead's dad.
Oh, okay.
He's wonderful. Love him.
The Serpent King.
It's clear you know a lot about this show, even though you've never seen it.
I know a decent chunk.
Okay, so that's the plot. That's the plot of the first episode. So if you want to know why I can't remember anything that happened in season 1, it's because everything happens. And none of it makes sense.
Everything happens.
And none of it matters.
And it all happens in episode 1.
It literally, none of it matters.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done talking about the plot, because it's stupid.
It's still stupid.
You have anything more to say on the plot?
I really don't. I did not like it.
I did not. I didn't like it, but I definitely was fascinated the first time I watched this show. I'm not going to watch it again. Yeah. Like, I wasn't fascinated the second time. Yeah. Even though I couldn't remember any of it.
I think for me, it was just like, you know, I'll say it's very campy. Mm-hmm. Some campy things are very fun. Mm-hmm. This was not fun.
This one was campy with pedophiles.
Yes, which I'm like,
that was your
that's
mistake,
my
guys.
least favorite kind of campy. I prefer to do all my camping with no pedophiles. To talk about characters, and again, our category question is, do we care about the characters and want to see where their stories go? I wrote in my notes, I hate all these people except Betty, and even she's kind of a sad wet blanket.
I don't like... Actually, I don't know what my notes here mean, because I wrote Jughead ? And then I wrote Veronica, and then I wrote everyone else. So I'm not actually sure what I'm trying to say here. I think I was saying that I like Veronica, and that I'm on the fence about Jughead. Like, I know he's a meme now, but I did kind of love the whole, like, season 1, he's like an outsider who writes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know it's dorky, I know it's over the top, I know he's not like the other girls, but, like, whatever. You know what? I related a little bit.
He just wants to hold Edward Cullen's hand.
What does that mean?
I'm saying that
he's a
Bella's
Bella. He is a Bella. You're right. Yeah.
He's 100% a Bella.
He is a Bella. And I still liked him. Oh, and I liked, obviously, his dad, whose name I can't remember, but...
Serpent King.
Serpent King. So dorky. Like, you couldn't come up with a better name for your gang. Like, please.
My family runs the serpents. I'm like, what? I'm like, you do what now?
I actually do like Veronica. Like, no one else really is worth mentioning, but I do think Veronica was kind of a mood. I can't remember if she stays good through the rest of the show, but I liked her in episode 1.
I went back and forth because honestly, all of them, maybe I'm just in a bad place right now because I'm tired from opening a restaurant.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that being a tiring experience.
Just a little bit tired. But I was like, get over yourself.
Oh, I forgot that she and Archie make out. Oh, like they couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Blech.
They were like, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
This is really bad. We shouldn't do this.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, I thought you were trying to be a better person.
Yeah.
You could have not gotten into the closet.
Yeah, they act like that it was beyond their control.
They're like,
it
but
happened.
Cheryl spun the bottle.
Yeah.
And Cheryl would have made out with him if I did. I'm like, there's a little word. And it's called N-O.
Starts with the letter N. See if you can figure it out. See if you can spell it along with us, guys.
It's called, I'm not doing that. They left the party
anyway. Yeah.
They're like, you can just leave.
No, you're right. Veronica sucks along with everyone else.
Yeah. And,
I'm over her now.
I want to like Betty because I'm like, you know what? A struggling only child, you know.
I don't really care about Betty.
I don't care. I'm not saying I care about her. I was just more like, she's so sad. I'm like,
she
I want
needs
better
to
things
speak up for
her.
herself more, and which I guess she does at the end of the episode.
She's like, I'm doing this for me, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm joining the River Vixens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Good for you. You're making some toxic relationships in the River Vixens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you just made out with your new friend to try and get onto a cheerleading team.
Oh my word, I forgot about that too. There's so much going on in that episode.
I was like, what? And
I think it's funny that
the only thing that was funny was Cheryl sitting there going, lesbian kissing has not been taboo since the early 2000s. So try something more interesting if you're going to make it onto the squad.
That was valid of her, though.
I was like, well, she's definitely serving, as the kids are saying.
Oh, my.
What else
Not
did I
to
write
change
with
tacks,
pictures?
but do you think our Mexican food is ready yet?
Probably.
Should we go pick up our food?
Yeah. Let me wrap up the characters.
I'm hungry.
Like, I don't even know if I'm hungry.
I know. I said that 10 minutes ago. Now I'm like, all I can think about is food. Burrito. Tell me about the characters. Wrap it up.
I mostly just
like
said,
a burrito.
I'll bleep this out, but I said, of course, these kids are all up. The adults in their lives are psychotic.
Oh, it's so true.
I was like,
absolutely.
I was like, these parents are projecting all of their issues from high school. They have, apart from the lodges, they've never left this town. They've just stayed there and grown angry and resentful towards their classmates from high school, to their town's history. I'm like, this is living in this town would be a nightmare from
Absolutely.
which there was no waking.
Absolutely. And that's not actually a note against the writing, though, because if you're going to write about a really creepy, crazy town, generational trauma is kind of an interesting way to explore that.
And kids who peaked in high school who grew into adults.
Yeah. It's actually interesting. Yeah. If they had done it well.
If they had explored that instead of
teachers getting their creep on with students.
Would have been a lot better.
With teenagers.
I think they could have still made... I'll say this again at the end, but I think they could have still made, like, a very interesting, like, comedic, campy show and just, like, focused on some other things other than their horny fantasies about teenagers.
Yeah, that's it. You've said what needs to be said.
I said it.
Podcast over.
What are you gonna do?
That is...
Let's pause there.
That is a little droplet of truth right there. Let's pause there.
Anyway, our taco break is over, and now we're back to talk about category 3.
How does
the atmosphere?
Oh, sorry. The atmosphere.
Are you ready? Do you need a minute?
Does my mic look okay, Maya? You're the smart one.
I think so. Just hold it up to your mouth.
You're the...
Atmosphere. Is the setting and time of the story unique or overdone?
Well, we did just compare to several other shows, but I still think it is unique, right? Like,
yes.
The Riverdale, like, super cartoony, but live action, small town psychosis, shared psychosis. But, like, it is unique, though. Like, it's got a lot going on.
I can't say I've...
still not, yeah.
I can't say I've seen another show like it. I mean, I also haven't seen Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars, or any of those One Tree Hill, of those teen dramas.
Yeah. I did watch at least the first season of Pretty Little Liars, and I would still say that Riverdale is unique. Like, yeah. There are similarities in the type of stories being told, but...
The campiness, also,
yeah.
The small town mystery vibes.
I don't know how to describe it other than colorful. And I mean that in both a literal and, like, an atmospheric way.
Yeah.
Like, just...
yeah.
Everyone
it feels like
insane.
Like the comic that it's based on,
it's
Archie
just as
comics.
vivid as the comic.
It's as vivid as the comic, but it's if they did the comic as a dark graphic novel. I wasn't mad at the atmosphere.
I would say
I wasn't mad at the colors.
I would say it's unique. I wouldn't necessarily say
it's groundbreaking.
I wouldn't necessarily... I'm trying to think of a word. Let me just percolate. Let me just sift through the powdered sugar of my previous thoughts.
Can we take some of the powdered sugar from your previous thoughts, take a little key and make some nice lines on a coffee table, and then just...
I don't know if you're ready for that. I guess what I'm saying is that even though it's unique, I don't know whether it was the best interpretation. And I'm not saying I'm not saying they were wrong. I'm just curious. Does that story need to be 21st century Archie? Does that work? Or would it have been better to just set it in the 50s, like when the original comic was set? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
My thoughts are they should have just done their own thing and not felt the need to do this weird, like, riff on the Archie comics. The Archie comics have zero in common with this TV show, apart from the names.
See, I don't have a problem with, like, taking a source material and playing around with it, but there isn't much to work with the source material to begin with, because what does anyone know about Archie besides the fact that there are two girls in him and he can't make up his mind?
Yeah, because he's an
idiot.
maybe
that Jughead eats a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of all people actually know about the original comics, because there really wasn't much more to it than that. I used to read Archie comics as a kid.
I did too.
So we've established the atmosphere is unique, and, like, they've got all the colorful, the insanity, all of that going on, and all of that. But on top of all of that, they've added this 21st century aspect to it. for me, it felt really weird to hear, like, these Archie characters talking about, you know, Twitter or, like, Instagram or whatever it was that they were saying. Oh, follow me on Insta, says Veronica or something.
Well, that's why I feel like you wouldn't have even had to use the names at all.
Right,
There's so little that they're borrowing from the original source material. It's true. I'm like, you could have just come up with some new names.
I'm just like, I don't mind the idea of, like, taking those characters and doing interesting different things with them and all that. But in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. I think it just, rather than adding the 21st century aspect to it, because they seem like they really wanted this 50s small town aesthetic anyway.
Yeah, they should have
just... They tried to have it both ways, and I almost think it would have been more interesting just to set it in the 50s with the suffocating small town.
Yeah.
And, like, there's plenty of, you know, can't think of the word I'm looking for, but, like, the gangs and, like, the mafia stuff with Veronica's dad and the gangs with, like, Jughead's dad, like... That was all going on in the 50s also, so you totally didn't need any of these stories to be 21st century stories.
Yeah, and apparently they went back in time and set it in the 50s in like one weird season.
Sort of seems like that's what they wanted to do all along.
Yeah. They should have just done it.
They should have just done it, because it felt to me like they modernized it, but they didn't.
Yeah. Because nothing made sense.
Yeah, it didn't. A lot of the stories actually didn't really make sense in a 21st century setting. Because, like, again,
because if kids had a cell phone, someone would have realized that Archie was banging his teacher.
Right? Yeah. Or, like...
And call the cops.
Even, like, they wanted to have this almost commentary about how hard it is for Kevin. I don't think they established this in episode 1, but, like, how he can't find... It's hard for him to find, like, a romantic partner because he's a gay man and, like, a gay teenager in a small town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, yeah, but, like...
You have a phone.
There's Grindr. Not that I'm suggesting it, but, like, this is the 21st century.
There's dating apps, yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm glossing over the experience of people who live in small towns. Maybe it really is like that, but I don't think...
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I think they should have just set it in the 50s. And they could have done all the storylines they wanted to in the 50s.
Yep. I fully agree with you. You convinced me. My thought was they either should have done it your way and done the 50s, or they should have kept it 21st century and just came up with new names.
Actually 21st century. Yeah, right.
And just, like, been like, oh no, the Archie comics have they haven't actually inspired this in any way apart from the fact that we just stole the names.
Exactly. Like, that's basically it, because none of the characters are even really like how they are in the comics. Like, Reggie's not like...
it's literally just Jughead's hat that's the same.
And it's not even the same, because it's not even a jug. How dare you?
Do you know how long it took me to realize that Riverdale was based on the Archie comics? When suddenly all the names, I was like, Jughead.
Wait, are you saying, like, you sat down to watch this and you didn't know?
No. Oh, when the show originally came out, I was like, oh. And then all of a sudden I was like, and then it was like Betty, and then it was like Veronica, and I was like, wait. And then it was like Archie, and I was like, and then Jughead popped up in his stupid hat, and I was like,
man.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Jughead was always my favorite from the comics.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like him. I wanted to like him in the show, but I think
he was so silly and goofy. But in the show, he's
so serious and
brooding. Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah. In the comics, he's like, nothing really affects him. Nothing really touches him. He's kind of like, he's the Bugs Bunny of the Archie world.
Yes.
You know, like he's kind of above it all. He's just there to have a good time and eat some hamburgers, and like, if you ever happen to get on his bad side, like, God help you. You know? That's the Jughead I'm vibing with.
That's what they could have done that easily.
They could have done that.
They could have done like this almost sociopathically joyful man.
Like Jughead. Maybe they did this. I don't know. I didn't watch the whole show, but Jughead's behind it all. Like, he's kind of been just messing with everyone in the town.
He would have been the
mastermind.
A from Pretty Little Liars. Or whatever.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, no, I don't actually want him to be the mastermind because that's too much effort. Jughead's lazy.
Yes.
He doesn't want any of the drama. He's not into the romance. He doesn't want to fight with Reggie. He just wants to, like, chill out, not do his homework, and eat 12 hamburgers. That's Jughead.
You really vibe with Jughead.
I, too, am lazy and love hamburgers.
No interest in the romance.
No interest in the romance. Don't want that drama.
Like, don't bother me.
Don't bother me,
Don't come by my house.
I don't care about Betty. I don't care about Veronica. I don't care... Archie's, I guess, his friend, but I guess he cares about Archie a little bit. But I'm like, I want to know what happened between Jughead and Archie, but amongst everything else, it's like, just one more thing.
Yeah. It's like, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be my quote for this season.
That is good. You are a tea-making maestro. Maestro? Maestro?
Maestro.
How do you pronounce the A and the E? Maestro?
Maestro.
Okay, you're a maestro. That's what you are.
Thank you.
Alright, well, I'm done with characters if you're done with characters.
We were talking about atmosphere. Do you want to take that again?
Yes, I would, thank you.
And Steve.
I'm done with atmosphere if you're done with atmosphere, Maya Anderson.
Well, I'm Cheryl Blossom, the president of the...
Why is everyone so fixated on their last names in that?
Now
that you said that, I can't believe I didn't know. Well, you're such a scholar of human nature.
Well, if it isn't Hermione Lodge.
From now on, I'm always calling you Maya Anderson.
I'll call you.
And I'm gonna use your name in like every other sentence. How does that sound, Maya Anderson?
That sounds great, Laurel Bristler.
Great.
What's your middle name? I'll throw that in too.
Guess. My name is Laurel Guess Bristler. No. I'll tell you, but not on the podcast. It's a secret.
Okay. Moving on then to category number 4. Other. Unique elements, things we love. Was this pilot a game changer for the direction of television? I can answer that one right now. No.
Maybe it was. Because, say what you will about Riverdale, it lasted for a bazillion seasons.
Yes, and the cast was begging to be released the entire time.
I would call that a game changer.
Yeah, they realized, oh wait, you can hold your actors hostages if you just draw their contracts up right.
It literally was like a hostage situation, wasn't it? No, I think it might be a game changer, but not for the better. That's my worry.
Enchanté.
Enchanté.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything really like Riverdale coming out recently. I'm grateful because I feel like I've seen the trend move towards, like good television.
So I think one of the ways you judge whether a pilot is effective, you said whether it makes you want to continue watching the show, and that is true.
Yeah.
But a pilot also needs to be a miniature show. It needs to be the show in miniature. It needs to hit all the high points that you're going to hit throughout the show.
Ooh.
Right? Like, it needs to show you what you can expect going forward in the show.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't come up with that. I heard someone say that. I don't want to take credit for that. Which is interesting because I do think that episode 1 of Riverdale is a good indication of the rest of season 1.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good indication of the rest of the series. Like, you can kind of tell they didn't have a vision beyond season 1. And that's why it went so off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they're like, oh, this is successful.
Season 1, episode 1 and season 1 are both crazy, but there's still, like, a semblance of, like, a plan in there.
Yeah.
Like, they've got...
It's a plot.
It's a what?
They don't have a plan, but they have a plot.
They have a plot. Yeah, you're right. They've got the first 3 letters. They don't have quite the whole word, but they've got... And then the rest of the season doesn't have a P, L, A, or an N. Like, it's just... It gets consecutively, like, more
it's
insane.
A scream.
Yeah, it's just the ah. But, yeah, so I feel like... As crazy as episode 1 and season 1 is, that's what they wanted to do. That's what they were going for. That was their, like, vision.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not indicative of the rest of the show. And that's why I didn't get beyond season 2, because it was like, what is happening? Like, even if, like me, you can get through season 1, you might not be able to stomach any of the rest of the stuff.
I'd be like, this is too silly.
It was silly. It was too silly. Let's, to quote myself from earlier, let's wrap this up like a burrito. Which was hilarious the first time I said it.
I don't remember you saying it the first time.
That's because you weren't listening, that's why I repeated it.
Anyway, I don't really have anything else to say for other apart from... I thought the costumes didn't make any sense for high school.
But the rest of the show totally... accurate to high school.
Yeah, nothing made sense. But the style and everything, it was pretty fun and campy. I think in the same vein of like Gossip Girl, of like nobody acts like this. Nobody dresses like this.
It didn't even not make sense in a way that made sense because there was no plan behind the nonsensicalness.
Because it was a plot.
It was a plot.
All right, Laurel. Pass fail.
Thank you for remembering that. I'm just gonna give it a fail because I don't think it indicates the rest of the season, and I know at least 2 people, you and my sister, who watched episode 1 and were like, I did not want to keep watching. So, that gets a fail from me.
And you know what? That gets a fail from me.
Cheers!
Cheers! And that wraps up episode 2 of season 2 of Effing It Up. Join Lorella and I next week when we talk about Damn It.
It's Firefly. You don't have to look. It's
okay.
Firefly.
It's Firefly.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to watch the pilot of Firefly again. Oh my god.
Or don't. I wrote enough notes for both of us, so we could
I
have.
don't even remember what happens in the pilot. I have to watch it again. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Okay. Anyway.
She's in pain.
Join Laurel and I next week as we talk about our next pilot, which is the pilot episode of Firefly, directed and written by Joss Whedon.
Maya's favorite person.
Tune in next time for that. Toodaloo, everybody.
Keep it feral.
I'm Cheryl Blossom, and I'm telling you all to keep it feral, River Vixens.